failed in such a way that it led to a success. That's sort of what happened to me last night. I went to the forest, completed a few missions, and then I went to negotiate with some hivers to do a deal to hunt something down for them, or to track it and relay its patterns of movements for them. But the price they wanted to negotiate was completely unacceptable to me. Then I went to some Nast connections that I had and tried to talk to them about a bunch of stuff. And that fell through too. So I got lost in the forest, because that's the way the forest is. But eventually I came across a viper. And I recognized this one because it was one of the defectives. They're sort of outcast because of a long series of failures. Whoever's in charge for this region has decided that while they don't need to be killed, they're also offered much less work, and therefore they usually end up dying on their own. This one has lasted for near a year, while he's been labeled a defective, which is much longer than most of them. Most of them, a couple months, and then they're just done. And seeing as though I don't have to adhere to the rules of the Jackal that were given from command within the Deep Well, I decided to just go with it, to just let whatever was going to happen. And I could feel how tense he was in the situation, so I decided to sit down and act as if not the forest had led me there, but as if it was my plan and intent all along to meet him. And he reacted, first with suspicion. He asked very vehemently, very upset, why I was blocking him from going where he needed to be. So he gave me information that I could use against him instantly. And I said, I have a task for you. And this actually made him even more upset, to the point where he almost drew a weapon. But then I grabbed mine and I put it aside, as if I might need to use it. Which I know that I wouldn't, because I have my specialist ability, and I could have immobilized him anytime I saw it. He's that low a level of a viper that I could have tuned into him, turned the power on, and just watched him suffer as much as I felt like it, or killed him with it. I didn't want to do either of those things, so I didn't even connect, because that'd probably drive him mad if I just connected. So eventually he didn't sit down, he leaned against a tree, and he asked me if I wanted him to gather some information. I didn't really have a plan at that point, so I just told him that yes, that's exactly what I intended. And then we negotiated a price. And his prices were a lot lower than I was expecting. But if he's surviving on his own with no real help, then his prices would be lower. He'd need every last job he could get his hands on just in order to survive. So I I heightened the price a bit, and I asked him to do a few things. To inspect Viper caches in the area. Not their information caches. What I've showed you in a previous video, the items that they tend to have. Normally when I come across a Viper, I have to kill or grievously injure him, and that affects like the items he would have, because as soon as one Viper is dead, the others in the area can feel it, and they go to his stashes and they take what they want. So from this Viper, who has need of payment from me, which I can easily supply even with my limited funds, and normally, a Jackal Viper interaction would never occur. Don't have to listen to those rules. I can see how he reacts, and if he does anything out of line, I can easily put him out of his own misery. But if he remains in line, I can greatly affect my information in the area on Vipers specifically, and for him it'd be a lot easier to infiltrate some of the larger groups because they don't really keep a track on which Vipers come and go, just that they're Vipers. So I could get a much better picture of what the Vipers are doing from him. This is a lot of, stuff to take in, but it was all there in my head while I was sitting on that rock. So I took out my vape and I started smoking. And I had cigarettes laced with gray water to trade, and I offered him one, and he took it very gladly. He didn't even suspect for a second that, it might be poisoned, which it could have been, like any Jackal in my position would have done it. And he enjoyed it, and he seemed a lot more at ease. It had probably been the most concentrated gray water he'd gotten his hands on in a long time. We discussed the job more, stuff I can't talk about. But I now have a Viper operative at my disposal. And if he proves effective in what I've hired him to do, I could use him for other tasks. And I just consider it a success because he can do a lot of things that I can't. He can go a lot of places that it would be very difficult for me to go, especially with having to constantly come back and feed and care for Brumble. It's just so much easier to get things done now. A lot of paths have opened up because I chose to do this. And I'm very sure that they don't involve themselves with human technology at all, so this video is entirely safe. It's interesting. This is something that occurs because I am open to the various possibilities. I can take care of this very easily if things go sour. I could track him easily because I marked him, and I'm very sure he wasn't aware of it. And I can gain information that would have been blocked off to the Jackals no matter how they chose to operate, because this is the sort of thing that they could not do. It's very good and very wonderful that this occurred. And I have to wonder if the forest wanted this to happen, because it led me constantly to this one set of rocks over and over again last night. And as long as I tried to avoid it, it kept reoccurring. I wonder if the intent... Sorry about that. Had a little camera trouble. I have the AC on because it soothes Rumble when he's getting a bit moody. I can't really turn it off right now. He's sleeping right under those blankets. I'll be pretty quick. Really what I just said is that forest seemed to have an intent, and I wonder about it, because after I left, it felt like the feel of the aliveness of the forest felt gratified, like it had just completed a task. And that's incredibly intriguing to me because it's something I'm very familiar with. Anybody who's accomplished anything, after they've done it and they felt good about it, that they would recognize that feeling. And I had my powers active, and I felt that through the power was that the forest had this sense of accomplishment. It's incredibly curious. It's very intriguing, and it makes me even more interested in what's actually going on in the forest and what it is about it that makes it so different from everywhere else. I have to get back to the stuff I was going to do, but I just wanted to make that point clear. So I'm gonna go finish my stuff, and you stay safe out there.